Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here and welcome to another video on Forza Horizon 4. Today, I want to wind the clock back to Forza Horizon 3, my favorite Horizon out of the entire lineup for many reasons, which I won't be going into today, but I want to look through the car list because you would imagine that as a new Horizon game comes out, unless there is legit licensing issues with the manufacturers, that the existing car list will carry over to the next game along with brand new additions. However, that is certainly not the case. For example, all of the racing cars that appeared in Horizon 3 did not make it to Horizon 4, and quite a significant amount of road cars also didn't make the cut. Why? I have no idea, but here are some cars I would love to see return sometime in the future as I present to you 10 cars we want back from Forza Horizon 3. Starting off with number 1, the Lexus LFA. I have to add this car to the list. Yes, I know it's part of Toyota and Playground Games are not allowed to have any of their cars in Horizon 4 due to not obtaining a license to do so, but I genuinely miss this car so much as it was the other proper Japanese supercar apart from the Nissan R35 GT-R. Now, we do have the Acura NSX in the game, but let's be real, that car was developed in America and doesn't really have the true Japanese heritage like its predecessor. But the biggest thing I miss about this LFA is the sound that it produces. Horizon 3 certainly nailed the engine noise with the LFA, and there's probably only one other car I could possibly think of that might be on par with the sound, and that is the Porsche Carrera GT. Either way, this naturally aspirated V10 rear-wheel drive super machine will truly be missed, and we can now only drive it around the streets of Australia. Number 2, the HSV GTS-R. Perhaps one of the most outrageously styled yet iconic vehicles to ever come out of Australia. With only 85 of these built, these GTS-Rs have increased in value by over 100%. Which for anyone in Australia who has one, lucky for you, as it's worth the same amount as some Lamborghinis and Ferraris down under. Only ever painted in bright yellow or XU3 yellow if you want to be accurate. The reason why HSV made this GTS-R was because HSV wanted to prove that they could take a Holden, modify it however they want, and still be able to sell to the market. Which explains the large V8 supercar inspired rear wing and the black 17-inch tri-spoke wheels. Underneath the bonnet holds a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8 stroked to 5.7 litres, producing 215 kilowatts or around 300 brake horsepower through a 6-speed manual gearbox, which was extremely cutting edge at the time for Australian cars. Since there's a huge overkill of American cars and Mustangs, for a game that's set in Britain, why don't we just bring this Aussie collectible into the car list as well? Number 3, the Ford Falcon XR8. Here's another Aussie car, and I promise it will be the last Aussie car on this list that has been missing in Horizon 4, and I think it absolutely sucks. The Ford Falcons in Australia were at one time dominating the Australian car industry along with the Holden Commodores, and they were doing so for many decades. Unfortunately, this one we see will be the last ever Falcon model to be produced in Australia, which is a shame for us Australians. So why didn't Playground Games bring this, the last XR8 ever, to Forza Horizon 4? It's the highest trim you could possibly get in a Ford Falcon without actually purchasing a FPV, which is Ford's official tuner company. It possesses a 5-litre supercharged V8 producing 449 brake horsepower or 335 kilowatts and can easily give some of the best European saloons a run for its money. Oh, and by the way, did you guys know that this is the Ford Falcon that was used as the null car for this game? Number 4, the Rolls-Royce Wraith. Here is a car I don't understand why it's missing in Horizon 4, and if anyone can help me out in the comments section, that would really be appreciated. But since the debut of Forza Motorsport 5, we saw our very first Rolls-Royce in the series, and that was this car, and since then it's been in every single motorsport game. However, for the Horizon series on the Xbox One, it's only ever appeared in Horizon 3. This is the same too with the Dawn, at least in the Horizon lineup, which is surprising since Rolls-Royce would suit perfectly with the setting of Horizon 4. With a very unique engine of a 6.6 litre twin-turbo V8 produced by BMW, this Grand Tourer just can't be compared with other GT cars in Horizon 4, as it's simply on a different level when it comes to bespoke design and ultimate luxury. Will we get to see Rolls-Royce return? Is this a licensing issue that we are unaware of, that they don't want their cars in a European setting as it's too real? Who knows? Number 5, the BMW M235i. This is one of the things I was talking about in a previous video, and that is Playground Games should implement different variants of the same model cars. And this is a perfect example of Playground Games just giving us the top end of every car model. I'm not saying they do that for every car model, but majority, which kind of sucks because in reality, everyone doesn't have the top trim for every car model. In a real life car meet, you would encounter someone with a normal WRX instead of a STI, and that's what Forza Horizon 4 lacks, and I can see why they removed this M235i since Horizon 3. Well, because what's the point when you could drive the M2, which is a beastier version of this car? However, that is not the point. Aesthetically, it looks different, therefore body kits aren't the same, and even the engine will be different as well. It just gives us a more diverse choice of similar cars to choose from, giving the players in your game a stronger identity. I wish for this car to return sometime in the future, but will it happen? Number 6, the Porsche 928 GTS. Relatively new to the Forza franchise, only ever appearing in Horizon 3 and Motorsport 7. This is a cool car to cruise around in and was in production for a very, very long time. Nearly 2 decades, and the GTS model was the final send-off for the 928. Producing 345 brake horsepower from a naturally aspirated V8 engine, it could achieve 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6 seconds, which in 1995 was incredible. On top of that, since this wasn't a 911, it was often overlooked as a supercar on its own. It not only had performance of a racing car, but it had all the luxuries you would want as a driver and passenger for full comfort. This is certainly one of the most underrated and underappreciated Porsches ever made. Number 7, the Infiniti IPL G Coupe, or the Nissan Skyline 370 GT, depending on where you are from, but this is one of those relatively affordable sports cars that any young adult could possibly purchase. Yes, I know it's not the most powerful car, nor does it have the most luxury equipment. However, this car can really resonate with, I believe, the demographic of most Horizon players. It's a 2-door coupe that produces 348 brake horsepower from a 3.7 litre naturally aspirated V6 shared with the Nissan 370Z, so it's got some power to it, and most importantly, it's natively rear-wheel drive, which is a dream for many drifters out there. This Infiniti has been in 2 out of the 4 Horizon games out. First, the original Horizon, and of course, Forza Horizon 3. Number 8, the Aston Martin V12 Zagato. Another British car that bites the dust. I would have imagined the entire catalogue of Aston Martin cars that was in Horizon 3 would make it across to Horizon 4, but as we can see, that is not the case. This time we are looking at this beautiful special Aston Martin that was built to commemorate the 50th anniversary since the original Zagato for the partnership between the Italian coach builder and the British automaker. With over 500 brake horsepower at its disposal from a 5.9 litre naturally aspirated V12, there are also a series of modifications made to the body, giving it better handling but also a much more racing look. This V12 Zagato has been in every Forza title, both Motorsport and the Horizon series since Forza Motorsport 4, and for it to be omitted in Horizon 4 just seems ludicrous. Number 9, the Tesla Model S P90D with ludicrous mode. Before the Rimac, there was this, Perhaps the OG of electric cars in the Horizon series, this was so unique to drive, with instant torque from 0 RPM and the absence of an engine noise. It was just something many of us players couldn't comprehend, but yet was so intrigued to continue driving it around the streets of Australia. How does it stack up against a petrol-powered vehicle or even a hybrid in its class were basically things many of us would do with this Tesla. I know the Rimac now in Horizon 4 is basically this with more performance, but it's not always about the fastest car in Horizon 4. This is certainly the most unique saloon so far, and it will be a joy to see this back in the game. And number 10, the Bentley EXP10 Speed 6 concept. Still in its concept phase, I believe this was the fastest road-going Bentley in Horizon 3 at the time, essentially a lighter and sportier Grand Tourer than the Bentley Continental GT. Will this eventually become its successor remains to be seen, but it's certainly an eye-catching concept, and if Bentley can stay true to its aesthetics, it could be the next step that Bentley needs to solidify themselves as the Grand Tourer kings. This is the future of Bentley, and I would love to take this around the streets of Britain in Horizon 4. So there we have it, guys, 10 missing cars from Forza Horizon 3 that I want to see back in Horizon 4. Let me know what you guys think of this list. Have I missed out on any cars? What cars do you want to see back from Forza Horizon 3? Write down in the comment section below. I do read them. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button. That would really help me out. And also, if you would like to see more Forza Horizon 4 content right here on this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.